I love Rurouni Kenshin. I've made 2 guides on this series already. In fact, my first video on this channel was a Rurouni Kenshin guide. The Hokkaido arc was about to start serialization and I wanted to help out new fans and old fans, and boom, the YouTube journey has started. Despite my love for the series, I haven't made many videos on it, and maybe that'll change in 2022, but I digress. Recently, a new anime was announced back at the tail end of 2021, and it was exciting. For years I had waited for a new Kenshin anime, at least an animated version of the Jinshu arc. However, the movies came along and adapted this arc, not perfectly, but good enough. I try not to be too negative on this channel, it's not something I want to breathe here, but I need to be honest with myself, and the 2 people watching this video. I'm worried about this new anime, and I'll tell you why. Anime remakes in the past have always been hit or miss. Here are 2 that comes to mind. One is beloved and the other, well, I'm not too sure because I stopped watching after 4 episodes. These 2 series are, as you can tell, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood and Shaman King 2021. Shaman King I dropped 4 episodes in and I'll get to that later. With Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, I did finish it and I think it's good, but the problem these 2 series share I can't ignore. I can't in good faith say FMAB is the best anime of all time because of this one flaw. Pacing. Now I know what you're thinking. What am I talking about? To you, the pacing in these series are phenomenal, and sure, in the later half of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, the pacing is pretty good. But what I'm talking about is the pacing at the start of the series, with Shaman King being worse than FMAB. Both these series speed through the initial arcs of the story because these arcs had already been animated prior. Shaman King cuts a lot of the stuff, and by episode 4 it skipped over so much plot and character development that I decided this wasn't for me. And if I wanted the true Shaman King experience, I was better off reading the manga. That and the animation quality was less than stellar, but moving on. FMAB has the same issue, rushing so they can get to the new material that people who viewed the original anime would not have seen. These 2 shows clearly want to separate themselves from their predecessors, and doing it this way is misguided. I mean, they're already not similar in terms of style, animation, soundtrack, and so much more. Personally speaking, when I watch an anime, I don't care if I've already seen the same thing 10 years ago. If these stories are supposed to be more manga accurate, speeding through what was already animated over a decade ago is not the right call, and it's why I cannot in good faith say either of these are perfect. We shouldn't settle for it gets better later. I don't want the Kenshin anime to speed through the first few arcs of the anime, because a lot of that old anime's first arc is canon. If they do, then it's going to lead to a lot of pacing issues, and it's going to take a legendary series and, in my opinion, most likely destroy it. There's a few ways this anime can distinguish itself while keeping the pacing intact and giving old viewers something new to look at, similar to JoJo. But I'm not going to talk about JoJo in this video. As of recording this, there has been so much new material added to earlier Kenshin arcs. A new starting point, for example, with Chapter 0. This, I believe, could be the perfect first episode, and if they really wanted to, they could include the pilot chapter as well. Secondly, there is Turu Flame, which could be slotted in between the Kyoto arc after Yumi's death, as a flashback, or as a prologue to the arc itself. We could also have a far more faithful translation of the series, and on top of that, rectify the censorship of the original series. For example, during the Tokyo arc, after the Oniwabansu died, Aoshi cut off their heads so he could bury them later. a fact omitted from the original anime. Also, the whole subplot of Sanosuke and his old Seki Hotai buddy fighting Kenshin could be cut entirely in favor for something more manga accurate, that coincides with how Sanosuke's character would actually handle the situation. Then there's the obvious Jinshu arc, that could be animated in all its glory. A complete adaptation, no cutting corners. Maybe tweaking some story elements that weren't so good, but no cutting corners. You know, something unlike what they did with the films The Final and The Beginning. Now, those are two good films, don't get me wrong, but I don't want a condensed Jinshu arc. If I don't have to get a condensed Jinshu arc, then the series could end on Yaiko no Sakabato and Cherry Blossoms in Spring, and then have an epilogue that teases Hokkaido. This also opens room to canonize some of the novels by adapting them here. These are changes that would keep the series fresh without sacrificing the pacing, and I hope these are the changes that we see implemented in this brand new adaptation. On a side note, when it comes to the dub, I pray they'll be able to get the original cast from Media Blasters as much as possible. Richard Hayward needs to return as Kenshin, same with Lex Lang as Sanosuke and Steve Blum as Shishio, among others. I'm not asking for much, just a solid adaptation. I'm a bit iffy on the studio choice, but people like Tokyo Revengers, so fine. I hope they don't fumble in the animation department for Kenshin. We can't all have Bones, Madhouse, or Ufotable, after all. But with that being said, this is where I wrap up this video. What are your thoughts on the news? Are you excited about the new anime, or are you a bit skeptical about it? Let me know in the comments below, and if you feel like there are other anime adaptations that you would like Kenshin to follow suit with, I've heard Hunter x Hunter is a good one that adapts a lot of the material that was already present in the old anime, but I've never seen Hunter x Hunter, so I couldn't really say. This is Grimtoki, this has been Beyond Animation, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.